Crime is surging across the board. Okay, this is Crime Tuesdays. I just made that up. I don't know if we're gonna do a Crime Tuesdays. Maybe we'll make every single day of the week a theme day, but a Tuesday. So this man in particular, who has all of the tattoos on his face, right? Fit the description as usual. And I'm going to go over 3 different stories, since this is what you asked for. I'm going to go over 3 different stories to help you to understand exactly how bad it's gotten out here. This man in particular killed 2 sisters, 2 beautiful young sisters, all because he was pissed off. And I always have to ask myself when I see these stories, and I have to say to myself, is this the first time that this happened? Is this the first time that this person actually committed this crime? Or is it the first time that they actually got caught?
Dallas police say a man who murdered 2 sisters admitted he did it in a rage. Amaya and Jalissa Lockett were shot to death early Saturday morning following an argument. The suspect was dating one of the sisters. The sisters both leave behind young children who lost.
Let me ask y'all a question, because I see this all too often, and we always having this conversation, and I keep telling y'all keep picking the wrong men. Why are these 2 young sisters, who are obviously baby mamas, too young to be baby mamas, too pretty to be dating dudes with tattoos on their faces? Come on, man, I'm just going to be real. Because I know that y'all want to say, hey, Anton, just focus on the crime. No, why are y'all putting yourself in this situation in the first place? Why are y'all putting yourself in this situation in the first place? Did y'all see the dude that killed them? Did y'all see what he looked like? One of them was dating a dude with tattoos all over his face, and then he wound up killing both of them. Why do y'all do this to yourselves? How many times are we going to try to warn y'all, and how many times can we try to prevent y'all from putting your own selves in danger unnecessarily?
Lost their moms. Fox 4's Amelia Jones spoke with the woman's father. Amelia's in Dallas tonight. Amelia.
Steve, their father tells me that the loss still doesn't feel real. He says that he wants the man who took his daughter's lives to be prosecuted to the fullest extent.
They were beautiful women coming into their own right, beautiful mothers.
This is how Chauncey Lockett will remember his daughters, 24-year-old Amaya Lockett and 22-year-old Jalissa Lockett.
To have them gone is a piece missing.
Dallas police say the sisters were shot and killed inside their apartment on Washington Avenue, just south of Lemon Avenue, east of Central Expressway.
Read that super chat shortly.
Amaya's boyfriend was also shot, but is expected to survive his injuries. Police say Sadiq Shabazz, Jalissa's boyfriend.
Look at this guy, y'all. Listen, just look at it. Take it in. Shout out to Dallas. I know Dallas got their share of Pookies too. But I want y'all to take this in and really consider what we're talking about right now. When we have these conversations and we speak at length about what's happening in these streets, I want you to look at why it's important for when I jump on the Anton Daniels channel and I say, hey, listen, guys, on Wednesday nights or on Monday nights or something like that. And I say, hey, listen, guys, you women are picking the same men, and the same men that you know are not good for you, and you out here frolicking, having children with them, and putting your own self and your kids. Now the kids then grow up with generational curses because their mother was messing with this dude who this video is going to forever live on, and he decided to go and take the lives because he just so happened to have a rage out. And he wound up killing her, the sister, and probably shot the sister's boyfriend.
Was the shooter.
It was just shocking, like surprising.
Arrest documents say the 4 were hanging out at the apartment when Jalissa and Shabazz started arguing. Amaya and her boyfriend went into the bedroom to get away when they heard a gunshot. When Amaya went to see what happened, Shabazz shot her and then shot her boyfriend as he tried to barricade himself in the bedroom. He was still able to call 911 and tell police what happened.
So check it out. She talking to a Pookie. Pookie get into a fit of rage, a rage fit, the sister and her boyfriend ran into the bedroom because they like, this ain't got nothing to do with us. He pull out a pistol, kill his girlfriend. The sister ran out to see what happened as though she didn't just hear gunshots. And she wound up catching her L too. The boyfriend was like, oh, not today, big dog. You might shoot me, but you're going to shoot me through the door. Barricaded himself in there and said, hey, listen, that's a girlfriend. That's not a wife. I'm painting a picture to you for like a C student because I want you guys to be aware of what's happening out in these streets. Boyfriend of the second sister that wound up getting shot said, I told you not to go out there. He decided to barricade himself in. He said, listen, I might get shot, but I'm going to live. I might get shot, but I'm going to live. None of them should have ever been in this situation in the first place. None of them ever should have been in this situation in the first place.
Like I said, disbelief. Like, you know, you hear about violent crimes and stuff like that happening, but you're always thinking, oh, it wouldn't happen to me.
Lockett says before the shooting, Jaleesa was questioning if she wanted to stay in the relationship. The arrest documents say Shabazz admitted to shooting all three people out of rage. He also told police that he didn't mean to kill anyone.
It's crazy so to say that.
Just meant to wound them all.
It was unintentional. There's nothing unintentional about killing two people and trying to kill a third person.
Lockett says Jaleesa's 2-year-old daughter was inside the apartment when the shooting happened. She wasn't hurt and is with family. Amaya's son was with his dad that night.
I'm going to make sure the kids remember exactly who they were, exactly how.
Now granddaddy got to make sure that he raised the kids. He got to raise a son and he got to raise a daughter. The daughter, let me tell you how dramatic this is and why it's so bad out here in these streets. The 2-year-old daughter was there when it happened.
Outgoing Jaleesa was, how smart Amaya was.
And how they were doing their best.
Just getting used to not seeing them every day. That's going to be the hardest part.
It's unfortunate, but that's not the only thing that's happening out here in these streets. It's bad across the board. Let me tell you what's happening against men.
First, he was accused of murder in Henry County back in 2016. Tonight, he's a free man. Today, a jury acquitted Matthew Baker in a quadruple homicide. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News at 10. I'm Tom Haines in for Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Now his mother is reflecting on his difficult path to freedom. Fox 5's Christopher King joins us at the live desk with this story. And Christopher, what did she say?
Oh, Courtney, Tom, she's beyond happy. Angie Lanier's son, Matthew Baker, was facing the death penalty. She had to wait nearly 8 long years for a jury to find him not guilty.
Let me ask y'all a question, right? Because I don't know the details of this case, and so I'm going to listen to the rest of the video. But one thing that is really, really wild to me is that this man has already spent 8 years of his life waiting to go to trial. That means that even if you get off, you lost 8 years and you never even did the crime. Another reason why I always say, let's wait until the courts determine whether or not you're actually guilty or not, because I'm sure that his life is already ruined. As much as he's excited to get out of jail because he's already spent 8 years, how does the justice system, how does a system that's supposed to be so advanced, and the American justice system is supposed to be so much far and better than everybody else, but it takes 8 years while you rot in prison, 8 years for you to even be tried. And most of the time, a lot of these guys that didn't even do the crime, they wind up copping out and admitting to it because he's facing a death penalty. So what they like to do is they like to trump up the charges. They like to say, hey, listen, you facing a death penalty. In order for us to be able to get a conviction, if you just cop out, if you plea, what we'll do is we'll either spare your life and give you life in prison instead of executing you, or we'll give you 25 to life and then you can get out in 21 years with good behavior.
They've been rough. They've been really rough.
Angie Lanier and her son have been through hell.
And he's just been keeping his face.
Her son, Matthew Baker, back in 2016, was charged with murdering 4 people. He's been in jail ever since for a crime a jury found her son did not commit.
Just fighting and fighting.
Prosecutors accuse Baker and 4 other suspects of shooting and killing Destiny Ollinger, Matthew Hicks, Keith Gibson, and Sophia Bullard at a home in the southern end of Henry County.
He said, I didn't do anything. He said, I didn't kill nobody. I'm innocent.
Prosecutors even offered Baker a plea deal that would have kept him behind bars for decades.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They say, listen, in order for you not to be executed, see, for me, I'm like, you know what? If you got to keep me behind bars for decades, you might as well just take me out anyway, because I'm going to just go ahead and chase down my freedom. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bet on me. They offered him a plea deal in order to get a conviction, which is one of the ways in which they keep a lot of these guys locked up that innocently probably didn't even do some of the crimes that they doing, but they offer you a plea deal when they say either you're going to die by lethal injection or you're going to take this plea deal.
He said, they're trying to take my whole entire life away from me. He said, well, I'll never have kids or anything.
Jacob Koski eventually confessed and said Baker was innocent, but Baker remained behind bars.
That's disrespectful. You cannot have somebody that honestly confess and say, listen, man, because I actually interviewed a guy that was on my channel. I forgot what his name was, but the full interview was inside of the Patreon. I interviewed a guy that was on my channel, and he got thrown in jail for something that he ultimately didn't do. And the actual real killer, who just so happened to be a hitman, was one of the people that came forth and said, yeah, I actually committed these crimes, but he wound up spending like 11, 12 years of his life in prison. And he had went when he was a young dude, when he was still a teenager. He couldn't even read and write in order to be able to sign a confession that they say that he signed. It's messed up, bro.
He was on 23-hour lockdown where he only got to come out for an hour.
Then on Monday, a jury in Henry County found Baker not guilty on all 30 counts.
30 counts. 30 counts. He will never, ever get those 8 years back of his life. He will never get those 8 years back of his life. This dude was convicted. You know why they took so long in order to convict him? Because they didn't have a case, but they couldn't drop it, and so he wouldn't take the plea deal. And so they still tried him, and they was playing with this man's life like it was a pinball machine. 30 counts. All of them not guilty. Now, come on, man, listen. If the jury of his peers found him not guilty on all 30, I'd have to believe that the prosecution had to know that this man wasn't guilty, but still wanted a conviction anyway. It's crazy, bro.
You hold your newborn baby for the first time, and that joy that you feel in your heart when you see your baby.
Now her son wants to restart the life he left behind.
Right now, he just wants to spend time with family.
Now, Lanier says Baker prays for the victim's family. She says her own family has been getting death threats. So right now they're in hiding. And she says right now she just wants to make sure her son is safe.
That's crazy. And this dude will still never, ever have a normal life. But then let's flip over to Chicago, right? And I'm going to show y'all what the rest of the culture is looking like. And then we're going to get to a reaction video about the money. Let's get to it.
Ahead of Memorial Day, residents and city leaders are concerned that crime is trending in the wrong direction. Condo and apartment buildings are the targets for criminals now. Tia Ewing has more on what you need to look out for. Tia.
Well, Dawn, someone may be watching right now thinking I can run downstairs, grab the mail. It'll only take 2 minutes. I'll leave my door unlocked. Under no circumstances should you do that. And especially when I tell you these statistics just last week, citywide aggravated battery was up, burglaries and also robberies. And it's having an impact in the downtown Chicago area. A knife fight in broad daylight.
Oh, no.
Police tell us 2 groups got into it in the 600 block of North Michigan Avenue.
Wait a minute. What is this, 1973? Warriors come out and play. Wait a minute. These dudes got knives. They are out there in a knife fight in the middle of the street in Chicago in broad daylight. You cannot make this up in downtown. These dudes are in front of each other in a knife fight. I have never seen such foolishness before in my entire life. Chicago cannot be a real place. No way, no how that Chicago is a real place. You telling me that these dudes decided to square up with knives and you got one too? And he dodged his knife attack? Look at this knife attack he dodged.
Chicago police tell us two groups got into it in the 600 block of North Michigan Avenue Sunday.
I mean, he been practicing on his knife skills.
One of the men in this video lives here at the migrant shelter at Inn of Chicago.
So you telling me that if these dudes had wound up getting guns, then they wind up murdering each other. But as usual, Chicago is not a real place.
That was reported by one of our local residents who lives adjacent to the migrant shelter at the Inn of Chicago. This individual recognized one of the assailants as a migrant who lives at the Inn of Chicago. So police are investigating that angle right now.
Alderman Brian.
They bringing their own problems, their own issues, their own crimes over here to the United States of the Americas, over in New York, over in Chicago, and they bringing their own ways of fighting, whole knife fights out in the middle of the street, beefing. These are the people that y'all let, and y'all said that they just wanted to come over here and they good people and they just want to work. And they got free housing in the hotel and they fighting with each other. They in a straight up knife battle in the middle of the street.
Brian Hopkins of the 2nd Ward says crime in Streeterville hasn't slowed down, specifically in the areas of Ohio
free housing.
and St. Clair.
We're seeing an increase in drug dealing, prostitution, loitering, the associated nuisance activity that goes along with loitering. There's a lot of litter and graffiti that happens, and occasionally a fight, like the knife fight that we just witnessed in Streeterville.
Residents of Streeterville apartments and condos have been warned not to hold the door for other people because criminals are weaseling their way in, targeting residents, taking valuables from inside their homes.
The first district's doing pretty well when it comes to crime, but we can always improve.
Just days ago, the 1st District Commander David Harris held a conversation with residents talking about crime in downtown. While crime is down 5% overall, burglaries are up 31%.
Some residents have the false sense of security that since they have a doorman, they don't have to lock their door. Well, that's one thing that we need to always lock.
Did y'all know that the Inn of Chicago was actually a migrant shelter now? I did not know that. I did not know that the Inn of Chicago on the Magnificent Mile was a migrant shelter.
Some good advice there, and I do want to point out the fact that the Chicago Police Department did create a robbery task force last week. It's made up of patrol officers and also detectives. They will be working overnight when many of these crimes happen, and the hope here is to put a dent in those numbers.
And the tripped out part about it is that they not adding into this conversation is that Chicago is still short 2,000 police officers. It's insane out here in these streets.